Okay guys, welcome back. So we're here at the Putter Lab. We're joined by Duane. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you. Thank you.
So we're obviously we're talking, the main theme during our visit, it just appears to be shapes. So we're talking, we've just been in with Taylormade, we've done some stuff with the new sim range, new driver. Right. We're talking about the sort of new shape and the aerodynamics of the driver. But yesterday, we were shown a new putter range with Truss that I think is just going to be equally as compelling when people see the difference to the technology.
Absolutely, we're real excited. It is definitely a different shape, but we've done this for a very specific reason, to improve stability all across the face, reduce twisting at impact.
Well, I love that we're in the lab talking about it, because obviously it's in here where you start to see the differences and why these shapes are so important. The stability of obviously the putter face on off-center strikes. The validation of that is when we can put it on machines like Quintic and with gears running in here today, and we can start to obviously tell the story in that a little more.
Absolutely, it's we call it a truth machine.
Yeah,
numbers can't lie.
Absolutely.
So we can make changes and measure the results. It's powerful stuff.
So let's kind of run through what we've seen so far. So yesterday was a great story. Spider X, just huge popularity on tour and in the consumer market.
Right.
There's still a lot of people though that like traditional shapes, like to still see the footprint of a blade and some other shapes like that. But there's always going to be trade-offs with that, and I think Truss is obviously going to help with a lot of that.
That's really kind of where it came from, was the stability that we've been striving for with Spider for all these years, putting it into a more traditional shape and trying to match some of that performance, because we have to keep the performance.
For sure.
We respect feel and tradition and look and all that stuff, but boy, performance is where we chase every day.
It's great to hear you say that, because so many people go, well, it really needs to have the look and feel, and we kind of go, well, it kind of really needs to have performance, and so then let's chase the look and feel. How about we get that side of it right first? Then we can dial in the preferences. So that's exactly how we feel about it. The same sort of thing. And we've got some kind of traditional shapes with us, and we're looking at some kind of traditional, whether you want to call them answer heads, obviously being the original heel toe weighted blade and things like that. That style of head that everyone's familiar with, and everyone's used that at some point, haven't they?
Absolutely, yeah. I kind of think about it that golfers have told us this is what a putter needs to look like for a very long time. And the downside is this, when we kind of realize how unstable this putter can be on an off center, just tapping it just a tiny bit off center, the face opens up, which increases loft. So the ball not only wants to go to the right, but it has more backspin and launches higher. So it's not rolling as well as it should, just because of an off-center strike. Obviously out here it's but even just a little bit off-center. So if I go right on the anchor point, where this hosel or shaft attaches to the head, it's a very stable putter.
Right.
Where we weight the head, heel, and toe, we make the center of this putter very stable. So really what we're targeting is these off-center strikes that can cost us performance. So kind of in that vein of knowing the most stable part of a putter is where the hosel or shaft meets the head, comes Truss. And here's basically the Truss version of that L-neck blade, but now we have multiple anchor points and trying to bring that stability to a larger part of this face. And now all of a sudden
And you're applying significantly more pressure with that.
Than
I can hear the change.
So we're getting a lot of that stability. So that's going to help when you hit it off center. It's not going to twist as much. It's going to roll better. It's going to maintain its correct loft. It's going to maintain more of its face angle that it should. So again, we're just trying to get that stability that we've known Spider has for all these years into a more traditional looking putter.
And the reality is, there was the stories yesterday of Dustin Johnson and what he likes to look at, versus what he puts the best with. But, dealing with the everyday golfer, the weekend warrior on a daily basis, this just seems to me like there's a huge story for them. They putt on slower greens. They're going to hit, the toe and the heel more, specifically the toe. They're going to hit that a little bit more than PGA Tour players. So going to the average golfer, this has just got massive benefits. Massive benefits. So are we talking about blades becoming basically as stable as these types of mounts?
I don't know if they'll ever reach that point of
Right.
a spider.
Yeah.
I mean, the CG, the center of gravity is so far back and
Sure.
spread out, and the MOI is so high
Yeah.
that it's really hard to. That shape of the spider is really how we achieved that. So
Right.
now, we think of CG back, meaning from face to back. Well, there's no back.
Yeah.
So the CG is right here. But by improving the attachment points and then putting heavier weights in the heel and toe, we're bumping up that inertia, but we're just making it much more stable.
Okay, interesting.
So I don't know if it'll ever get to spider because there's no
Yeah.
back here, but trying our best.
Well, and that's trying to kind of give the best of both worlds for the player who likes that traditional shape. I mean, I think there's still going to be, another, wave of movement towards spider as people tend to, see more results with that putter. See how good Rory changes his stats. Went through the roof last year.
Absolutely.
Everyone knew that was the part of the game that if he ever got right, everyone better watch out, and he got it. You got it right.
Absolutely.
So, why don't we hit a few? I mean, obviously we've got Quintic, which you guys have seen us use in the past. So we've got Quintic here. Let's use some examples.
Perfect.
And we can show what it does.
Okay. Are we toe striking?
So, what do you want to do? You want to start off with a couple of solid, kind of centered ones, and then go to the toe ones?
Sure. Let's do one of each. Let's do a solid then a toe.
Definitely felt like I hit the toe, yeah.
Well, the interesting thing is the first one had, I think it was 22 or so RPMs of hook spin. Be interesting to see if this one has a little bit more.
The first one had hook spin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's even on our attempt at a centered one.
Right.
Be interesting to see what.
So that had 50.
2.5 times.
Yeah.
So that's
that had 50.
Yeah.
So let's just quickly touch on that. So what's an acceptable range of side spin? Do you want 0? Ideally.
Ideally.
So we started with 22,
which was acceptable.
Which was okay, right?
Which is okay.
And so then that toe strike jumped it up to 50 RPM, which is
so we're seeing
a lot
how
more.
much that kind of gearing effect, is
hits
obviously. We're seeing how much that takes effect. So, we would never want to up around 50. 10 to 0 would be starting to get it dialed in.
And with that effect, like obviously that strike feels not great.
Yeah, that's interesting. Tell us about the feel difference between the two.
One you heard, I think I heard it. Yeah. It sounded a little weird.
I said that to you earlier on, didn't I? When I hit
great.
the toe strike, it just changed the pitch on it.
And then you feel a little bit of this in your hand.
That good.
Okay, so we'll start with a regular hit.
Okay.
So thoughts at address?
I mean,
it's hidden, isn't it?
It hides it well. It hides it well. I mean, if you really wanted to pick it apart, obviously you can kind of see the light catch this.
You see
a bit
the angles,
But it's if someone doesn't want to look at a spider from a shape perspective, clearly this is a much more traditional looking putter. There's no doubt about that. Look pretty centered. I felt
it was good.
Sounded good.
Yeah.
See, that sounded fairly solid.
That was good. That was good. This will be interesting because you hit that one in
Just
the toe,
but square,
with
right?
a very square face.
Well, it's interesting because people are sometimes shocked when I can call where they hit it on the face. That sounded very similar to the center strike.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
15.
There you go.
So
3 and 15. You went 22 to 50, and that went 3 to 15.
So less than a third of the amount of hook spin. That's quite significant, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, when you're dealing with a fast, what do we have here? 15 feet or so?
14
feet.
Running about 12 and a half.
Right. So
this is 12 and a half.
So you're hitting these smoothly. The obviously the club speed and acceleration speed is fairly moderate. You get this into a wet morning, the greens are running 7-8, you've got a 40-footer, and you try and stabilise that off-centred strike.
Yes.
You're going to want some stability on those ones. Let's roll a couple with this guy.
Sure.
I'm really curious about centre shafted because, as much as we've talked about centre shafted, traditional centre shafted in the past, being quite vulnerable to a strike either side and really increasing rotation.
So this could be kind of the remedy to that because the anchor points are actually close to the edges.
Yeah, the center shaft traditionally, it's like talking out of both sides of my mouth where I've always said, like, theoretically, center shaft is the perfect because of what I've already said a couple times. Most stable part of a putter is where the hosel attaches to the head. Well, that happens right at the golf ball. So, but the problem is, because of that attachment, if you hit it left or right of it, it almost accentuates.
Absolutely.
Good.
That's crazy.
6.
So it literally was the same.
Yeah. That's what we should see.
Wow. So about 14, 15 with the blade one, or the non-center shaft, and then center shaft is just basically taking that to another level.
Yeah. And it should, because now we've spread that attachment point more heel and toe.
I mean, it makes sense when you look at it. It just seems like it's more evenly distributed.
Yeah.
Duane, when you're working with players all the time right now, how much have you actually had a chance to do testing like this so far? I mean,
still pretty new for us, from a player standpoint. Done a lot of testing in the R&D phase and some robot work and stuff, but honestly, the real work now is the next couple months. Getting them scaled into their gears and Quintic and just running through players. So ask me in a couple months.
I know.
We'll learn a lot. I mean, that's awesome to see.
Cool, yeah.
Very impressive.
It's a lot of validation early on, isn't it? Which is exactly what you want when you go through that process of developing product and you have concepts, and then to bring them to reality where you say that you extract the truth on these machines. You can be pretty proud of your work at that point. Okay, well, we really appreciate the time. We're so fortunate to have the chance to do this with you guys here in the Kingdom. So we're excited to get these back to the studio and kind of have a little play around. And you're talking about that in spiders and doing some shaft stuff and see some grip stuff. It's just really interesting just to build upon and layer these technologies and see where we go with that.
You could basically make just some of the most forgiving putters possible between all those technologies, from grip all the way down.
Grip, shaft, head. Yeah,
it's pretty amazing.
Absolutely.
Okay, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. I think this is something you're going to hear a lot about, come obviously release time right around the PGA show. You start to see these coming in. Probably going to start seeing some pretty big profile names using this technology pretty soon, we would hope.
Yeah, absolutely.
That'd be great to see. Okay, stay tuned for that. We'll see you again soon.